I will say for me, it was hard to grow up in Person County as well. For me, I never quite fit into the two dynamic worlds that are there. It's a very black and a very white world.
We are here today with Pastor LaTonya McIver Penny. We're very excited to be with you. So we just have a few questions to ask you because we want people to know about all the great things you are doing in the Person County community, particularly representing New Mount Zion Baptist Church. So the first question that I like to ask you is just about your upbringing here in Person County. So tell me about your upbringing here, going through the Person County school system.
Sure. So I grew up in Caswell County. My parents lived on the borderline of Person and Caswell. My mother was in the education world, so she crossed us over the line and we went to school always through Person County. So I kind of lived in a dual world. Most of my friends were on my street in Caswell County and went to a different school, but I went to school in Person County. I love Roxborough. I love being a part of a home community. I love being a part of Leesburg. We were all a family. If you got in trouble at one neighbor's house, you got in trouble till you got all the way home. So I love that. And so for my school, though, it was a little different because every single school I went to in Person County, I had a relative that worked there. So my world is different. I couldn't get in trouble. I couldn't misbehave because elementary school, my dad's sister, my Aunt Carolyn worked there. Middle school, my mother and my aunt were there. And by the time I got to high school, it was my uncle and two of my cousins. So school for me was, I better act right, right? So I didn't get the luxury of misbehaving and getting in trouble, but it was a joyous experience. I will say for me, it was hard to grow up in Person County as well. For me, I never quite fit into the two dynamic worlds that are there. It's a very black and a very white world. And for me, I kind of lived in the middle. At the time, I was on drill team in high school, which was predominantly white. It was me and one other person, and so I took dance lessons. It was me and one other Black girl. And so I lived in this weird world of not quite fitting in with anybody. And by the time I got to high school, I was sick of it. I was like, maybe I'm this unicorn. I just need to leave. And so when I got to high school, I worked really hard and I graduated early. And from what I was told, I was the first African-American female to graduate Person High School in 11th grade. So I graduated in 11th grade and went straight to college and never looked back. So the downside of that, everybody's like, oh, that's so cool. Well, I don't really have like a reunion to go back to. I don't really, because I marched with the class that I graduated with, but I didn't attend school with them like that. So none of them were really close-knit friends. And then the class that I left early kind of disowned me. So I just kind of look lost. I don't go to any class reunions or anything like that. But I think for me, it was the best thing that I could do. And I started my journey heading to college very early. And I was able to see that life is so different outside of Person County.
Okay, so as you said, you headed to college, North Carolina A&T State University, where you...
Let me back up now. I took a detour.
All right.
So I started off at UNC Greensboro. I made it 1 year, and I won't tell the whole story. I had a moment of racism that I experienced from two of my hallmates, and I will tell the story. So we were sitting in my car at a Wendy's drive-thru, and my white counterparts were in the car with me and my Black roommate. And one of the white girls in the back seat said, "N-word makes me sick." She saw some Black brothers walking in front of my car. So she used the N-word. And I said, "What did you say?" And she said it again, the N-word, they make me sick. And I said, "You do realize we're Black?" Well, my roommate was biracial, and I think they just assumed I was, but I am clearly a Black woman. And I said, "So you realize I'm Black?" And she said, "Oh no, but you're the good kind of N-word." okay. So I think that was a reality check for me of, I don't want to be here. And so I transferred after my freshman year and went to A&T and literally found out I was Black and proud. And, because I left this dynamic world, I'm stuck in the middle, trying to fit in with Black girls, trying to fit in with white girls, didn't know who I was, and found out from living and attending A&T that I am very much Black and proud.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.